Welcome, everyone. This is Ann Rodenberg with the Advancement Office. We're still seeing some participants rolling in, and we are very glad for all of you who have joined us. We're going to get started with a welcome from Julie Bruner, the chair of our board.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to Wilder's Donor Appreciation Event. My name is Julie Bruner, and I have the privilege of serving as the chair of the Wilder Foundation Board. On behalf of the staff of Wilder, our executive team, our executive director, and the board of directors, I want to thank you so much for joining us today. And of course, thank you for your support. Your gifts help Wilder serve people with critical needs: housing, childcare, respite care, mental health support, and research. We are so grateful, and we couldn't do it without your support. Thank you so much. And it's great to see faces that I know. Last year at this time, we were celebrating virtually again in hopes of convening this year in person. And while we've decided to err on the side of caution this year, we want to say how much we miss seeing people in person. Warm smiles, reconnecting with friends. There's nothing like it. And we hope we can bring a smile to your face today as well. Before I do a couple housekeeping chores, I just want to do a call. I'm going off script now, staff, so here we are. I just want to do a call out to the staff of Wilder. The staff, the executive team, our new president, Armando Camacho, have done a remarkable job in the last 18 months. They pivoted immediately from in-person services to doing things online and virtually. They were remarkable. And with all the chaos and turmoil that went on, they kept the wheels on and they kept us moving forward. And the board, and I know all of you, are so grateful. What an outstanding job our staff have done. So virtual thank yous to all of our staff. Now I'll go back on script, staff. Just housekeeping things to note, and then we'll get started with our program. Guests are automatically being muted right now, but should be able to unmute and ask a question when we go into sort of our breakout mingle opportunities. If you're willing, we'd love to see your faces over video, and we're recording the event, and we will share the recording with you in the days to follow. Past year and a half have required a great deal of courage to face the challenges our community has faced and the world. Showing up takes courage, and we've seen countless examples of how our staff, our clients, our volunteers, and our supporters have stepped up to the plate. Just a few examples. We've seen a Wilder staff member calling clients early in the morning to help make sure kids got to school in time. We've witnessed a 16-year-old donor and her family requesting school supplies for her birthday celebration. That resulted in 75 backpacks and supplies being collected for Wilder clients. We've seen a client supported through housing services at Wilder purchase her first home. I mean, what a celebration. And you sharing your financial support to make sure others have a place to call home, food to eat, and the care they need. It's really amazing. And while I hand things off to our CEO and president, Armando Camacho, please feel free to introduce yourselves in the chat or wherever you're logging from. So thank you again for your support in joining us today. And hi, Armando, take it away.
Hey, Julie, thanks so much for that. And thanks for going off script, by the way. We love when you go off script because it comes off authentically, and it's we greatly appreciate your support and the board's support as well, and for your leadership too. For those of you who serve on boards and been chairs of a board, you know it's more than a part-time job. So thank you, Julie. You've been an amazing mentor and a supporter for me and our team here at Wilder. Before I begin, a special shout out to Tom Kingston, our former CEO. So let's give just a warm welcome to Tom and his spouse, lovely spouse as well. And I had the privilege of meeting Tom. He helped me actually interview for my first nonprofit job. And I always tell Tom, I never forget that, his graciousness and allowing me to sit in this actual office to apply for the neighborhood house job when I was trying to get into the nonprofit sector. So welcome, Tom, and thanks for your leadership as well. And a special shout out to Mike Howe, our previous CEO as well, even though I don't believe she's with us this evening, but she's also been a great supporter and mentor over my first year here at Wilder. And also thanks to all of you, our donors, staff, volunteers, and supporters for joining us today. I know that many of us are exhausted with doing things virtually, but we had hoped to be in person today. But thank you so much. It means a great deal to me and to our staff and to our board that you took time out of your afternoon on a beautiful fall evening here in Minnesota to be with us today. Over the next 20 minutes, before we break into small groups, and I'll explain that a little bit later, but we're going to be networking with Wilder leaders as part of this program today. I'd like to highlight some ways you have supported Wilder, as well as some stories of how your gifts go to work in our community. I'll share about our efforts to expand housing support, school-based mental health, and wealth building opportunities to make St. Paul a much stronger community, one family at a time. First, I'll start with some highlights on all of you. These are things that you've actually supported us with. So over the past year, we've had 974 donors contribute to Wilder. That is just amazing, almost 1,000 donors. We welcomed 356 new donors to the Wilder family. Special welcome. 121 of Wilder staff members also donated to Wilder. This is remarkable to have over 100 staff financially support the nonprofit and social services is really unheard of. So thank you to all our staff. Also, we had 96 of our donors that also volunteered for Wilder, helping us provide critical service like Meals on Wheels, which there was a tremendous need for meals being delivered, especially during the first few months during the pandemic. Also this year, we had 2 donors, special shout out to Marvel Norton and Janet Kelly. They honored Wilder with estate gifts. These gifts, totaling nearly $200,000, will join the Wilder family legacy as part of our endowment.
3 to 6 miles.
There also will continue to serve the community, where these gifts will continue to serve the community into perpetuity. Lastly, we launched the public phase of our campaign for families in May. To date, we have raised, drum roll please, virtual drum roll, $13.5 million towards our goal of $17 million. We're building a stronger St. Paul, one family at a time. Later in the program, we'll share ways you can support the campaign and help us realize our ultimate goal to get to $17 million for St. Paul families. Next, I want to share a few stories as examples of how your gifts impact people's lives each and every day. Thank you for partnering with Wilder in this work. We couldn't do it without your support. First, I want to share about Tanya, who's been a client in our direct housing assistance program. In the past, Tanya and her teenage son stayed wherever they could before they were accepted into Wilder's Rebuilding Our Futures, also known as ROOF, project for families experiencing homelessness. Tanya worked with Wilder staff to find a rental unit in a quiet townhome development in Stillwater and a better paying job closer to home. After just 3 short months, Tanya's income had risen to the point that she was no longer eligible for the roof project. Wilder staff told her about direct housing assistance, another Wilder program, and helped her apply for that program. After she was accepted, Wilder sent rental payments directly to Tanya's landlord. The small payments were enough to give Tanya some breathing room in her budget as she recovered from her experiences. She paid off bills and debts to boost her credit score. We all know how important the credit score is to being able to get housing or anything in this country. So after 9 months of housing assistance payments, Tanya felt stable and financially healthy. So she decided on her own to end her participation early and let the funding go to someone else who might need it. She's now paying market rate rental on her townhouse and also raising her 17-year-old son. Wow, that is just an amazing story. And for someone to end their support early just speaks a lot to her tenacity as she moved from homelessness to being on her own and also supporting her son with the supports of Wilder. So thanks to your support, we're able to fill in the gaps for families like Tanya, helping them stabilize before they enter a crisis like homelessness. Next, I want to share about our school-based mental health work, which I've gotten to know on a personal level. As a former educator, I understand the importance of mental health, especially in our schools. This year, thanks to investments in the Campaign for Families, so these are things specifically tied to our campaign, we've expanded our school-based mental health work to 30 schools now. Services are culturally designed and offered by therapists who reflect the cultures of the majority of students of the school. We have a goal to increase our reach to 50% of St. Paul schools to serve 400 plus students each year, and we're very close to getting there. I want to share some highlights from our incredible school-based mental health therapist, Cheng Vang and Talana McGee. You can read their amazing quotes on the screen. We are so proud of the work that they do each and every day to help kids and families thrive. All of this work is part of Wilder's exciting strategic focus as an organization, which is to integrate Wilder's program delivery and research expertise to serve whole families. So for example, we know that when a family brings their child to us for mental health support, the child spends far more time at home with family than with our therapist. If the family's on the verge of homelessness, it's pretty tough for them to help their child with mental health needs. Strengthening the whole family with housing support, for example, optimizes the benefits for the child and stabilizes the family as a whole. Our goal to focus on whole family care is the foundation of an exciting campaign for families. Investments in the campaign are helping us expand programs that are critical for family stability, especially in this uncertain time of COVID. We are increasing the number of schools where we have an on-site therapist for students, helping more families with rent and mortgage expenses, and supporting families with small stipends to achieve goals they designed for themselves to emerge from poverty. We launched this campaign 3 years ago and have raised $13.5 million so far, and we put the money to work right away. We increased our school-based mental health presence by 8 schools and added 4 more new schools this year, which is amazing. We've supported almost 100 families like Tanya's with housing expenses, and nearly 300 families have participated in crafting their own pathway out of poverty through an initiative called Up Together. Families are not receiving a handout, they're receiving a hand up here at Wilder. We continue to welcome gifts and would love the chance to talk to you more if you are interested. We will link to a form in the chat feature, which is on the right-hand side, where you can express interest in the campaign for families as well as volunteering. So thank you to all of you who volunteer on a regular basis. Also, you can sign up for our newsletter so you're always up to date on what's happening here at Wilder, or designating a gift to Wilder in your will or estate plans, which is also another way to really support the health of this organization. For our closing activity, we'll break into small groups to give you a chance to meet with Wilder's executive team members. And it's going to be a fun breakout session. So please do not hang up on us and leave us, because by the way, we'll know if you do. Hopefully you'll stick around. If we were together in person, we'd be standing around, refreshments in hand, mingling with people around us. So we wanted to create a virtual version of that if we were actually in person. It's the best we can do virtually. We encourage you to share your thoughts and your reactions to the program, what I've said today, what Julie said today, what you're seeing about Wilder. You can ask questions about Wilder. Anything's fair game. The executive team is ready for all your questions. Also, you can ask questions about how we're responding to the pandemic and just a lot of the things that are going on in our society and our world that affect our staff and our families and our communities. Also, you can ask questions about the campaign, how it's going, and how we're putting those dollars to use as well. So the instructions are going to be coming in a little bit, and it's going to be really easy, I promise. We're going to have 4 groups, and I just want to highlight who those groups are going to be led by. Group 1 will be led by Ann Rodenberg from Advancement and also myself. Group 2 will be led by Jenny Hawkins, who's the VP of Human Resources, and Dr. Pahua Yang, VP of Development, Community Mental Health and Wellness, and Amelia Caldwell from Advancement. Group 3 will be led by Amy Huerta, Chief Financial Officer, and Paul Matesic, Executive Director of Wilder Research, who, by the way, is retiring next June. So big thank you to Paul for everything. So if you have a chance to give a shout out to Paul in the chat feature, please do. But he's not done yet. We still got him for a good 9 months. And also Paige Stein from Advancement will also be with Paul. Group 4 will be led by Michelle Morehouse, VP of Advancement. Also Nona Ferguson, VP of Economic Stability and Aging Services will be with Nona. And rounding out the last executive team member is Jennifer Tao, the VP of Strategy, and also then Lindsay Bacher from Advancement. So these are the instructions. Again, I said it's going to be super easy, so I have confidence on all our technology skills because we had over a year to work on this stuff. Zoom will automatically send you to a breakout session, so there is no need to click on anything to get there. How about that? If you're having trouble with technology, we are sharing Andy Brown, who's our amazing director of communications, his phone number on the slides, and encourage you to call or text him. And if you want to call him late at night, he's got little kids, he's always up late at night. So go for it on the weekends. He's always open to calling him or texting him. Just joking, just only today during this period, please. My job is to reach out to Andy on all nights, hours of the nights and the weekends. Andy's great. So thank you, Andy, for being available to help anybody with tech issues. So we're going to adjourn from the breakout groups. So when we're in our breakout groups, we will not come together as a large group. That breakout group will end the event. So I want to thank you in advance for joining us today, and sit tight while we split you into groups. And I would love to sit down and meet with many of you. Please reach out to me. It's armando.camacho@wilder.org. Love to have a virtual coffee, in-person coffee here on our campus. And I'd love to get to know you better. And I've had a wonderful year, my first year here at Wilder. So thank you so much for inviting you into our community. So hold tight, and you're going to be breaking into groups. Thank you.